Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a special Q&A session comprising of all of the questions I've been getting from moms and parents alike. My name is Chris Obik and I'm a child psychologist, and today I'm going to be giving you the answers to the burning questions around disciplining your child, around parenting, around screen time and all of that. So make sure you watch till the very end, okay? I have so many answers to your questions. So this video is going to be a three-part series, and this is the first part. Okay, so what I want you to do is to pay attention, get a note if you can, and jot things down. Let's get right into it. I have a saying that your child's education is too important to be delegated. You see, teaching your kids is one of your most priority assignments as a parent. And the good thing is that teaching your kids at home kind of deepens whatever they learn. It creates a strong connection from what they learn to their memory so that they can actually retain it and understand it better, because you know your child better than anyone. You know them better than the teacher. So it is natural that you teach them. And research has even proven that when you teach your kids, they have a 78% chance of being smarter than their mates. This is research, right? So if you want to give your kids that advantage, if you want to give them that strong foot out there to go out there and make you proud, because you have given them the right foundation. Well, I understand. As adults, you have so much that is taking your time. You're going to work, you have to take care of yourself, you have bills to pay, there are responsibilities, you're taking care of a lot of things, right? So it's natural to say that, oh, I don't have time to teach my kids. I would rather ship it off to a lesson teacher to do that for me. But here's the strategy. If you want to be able to teach your child, you want to have what we call a schedule. When you have a meeting, what do? You schedule that meeting. People make time for what is important to them. And the best part is, it only takes just 20 minutes to teach your child every day. You don't need more than 20 minutes. In my academy, I talk about how you can even structure these 20 minutes to really get the best out of it. But trust me, everybody has 20 minutes a day. As a parent, you can't tell me that you can't really set apart 20 minutes a day with your child. I feel like if you can't do that, then there's a problem somewhere. So it's not about really being busy, or it's not about having time. It's actually about knowing how to utilize the time that you have and prioritizing teaching your kids over sending them out to lesson teachers. Well, this is a tricky question because screen time in itself is not actually bad. It's the abuse of screen time that is terrible. A lot of parents use screen time as a way to distract their kids so that they don't come back to disturb them. What you are doing is that you are building a dependency on screens on your child. So what now happens is that your child is so used to being on screen and sticking to screen that they become mentally paralyzed to do other things. They won't like to read, they won't like to do chores, they won't like to do anything just because they want to be on that screen. And it even gets to a point where the moment you try to take that screen away, it becomes a real fight. What's the problem? You have actually spoiled them with screens. So you also have to also consider the fact that we are in a technological world, and you can't really say you want to avoid screen time totally, right? However, there is a screen time guide, and we teach this in our Tesla Kids Parenting Academy. You should enroll, by the way, where we teach you exactly how to regulate it. It's regulation, all right? It's not total avoidance, and it's not also free will. It's regulation. When you know how to regulate and you know how to use screen time effectively, you can actually use it to bolster your child's education and really get them curious or equip them with skills of the modern world. So all in all, it's not about taking it away completely. It's about knowing how to use it as a tool to get the best out of your child. So if you're trying to start teaching your kids at home, one of the things that you will understand, and I'm going to call this a same mistake, when parents want to start helping their kids at home, or even when they want to get a lesson teacher for their child, the first thing that they do is they identify the subject that their child is not doing well in, and then they go and find a lesson teacher for that subject. Well, that is counterintuitive because it doesn't really work. It kind of creates a strong enmity between your child and studies, right? What you want to do is to actually identify the part where they are doing well. And when you want to teach them, you want to start from where they are doing well to a place where they are not really so strong. The reason for that is that you want to build affinity, you want to build a likeness between reading and what they actually love and what they are good at. Because when you are good at something, you want to do that thing all the time. When you are good at something, you want to show it off. But when you are not good at something, you might even dislike that thing in total, or you won't want to listen to anybody tell you anything about that thing. All right. So you want to start from where your child's interests are. Start from the things that they are. It's like when you want your child to be a reader, you want to start giving them books about things that they actually love. Maybe it's a cartoon character, or maybe it's about the Bible, or maybe anything. You want to start from those kind of books and now move further to the part where they are not really so strong. Because they have gained confidence in the beginning, that confidence is now going to pass on to that areas of weakness, and you can use that momentum to get them to give it another shot, give it another try, or open their mind, or be more interested in learning this new one. But in general, if you really want to know how you can teach your child, like that is, you've been trying to start teaching your child but you don't know where to start, you don't know what to begin with, I suggest that you get my book, Homeschooling Secrets Blueprint. It covers basically everything you need to start teaching your children at home. All right, the link to the book will be in the description, so you can always click on it, get access to the book. I think it's just about 5,000 naira. Get it, read it, and you can start implementing it. Now, whenever we say teach your children at home, some parents are like, me that I don't even know anything, how do you want me to teach somebody? Let me tell you the truth. As a teacher, in fact, the right teacher doesn't actually teach. What the right teacher does is guide. The child follows the lead. This is child-centered learning. The child is what follows the lead. You, as the parent, all you do is you direct and guide. You're not there to exactly teach. You are there to help the child to find the answers themselves. All right. So it doesn't really matter your educational background. There's a research that states that it doesn't really matter your educational background. You can actually teach your child, because all you need is to support them the right way. The right way. All right. And then they are going to find those answers themselves. And heck, if you have low self-esteem about it, maybe you should actually do research and prepare yourself for that lesson. Or better still, if you are feeling maybe a bit down or you have low self-esteem about it, you can do some quick research. I think elementary math or elementary English is not supposed to really be that difficult. All right, just do a bit of research so that you can show face. But at the end of the day, it's not your knowledge that you're imparting on the child. You are helping and supporting your child to find the answers to his or her questions the right way. You can also utilize some educational websites and applications as well, guide and support your child through them, and that also constitutes as teaching them, but you are not exactly being the teacher. In my experience as a child psychologist, one of the things that I have found that is the reason why your child does not understand what is being taught or doesn't make progress is because he's not being taught via his learning style. This is usually the biggest issue that I have found out to be the cause of a child not understanding or making any progress. When you find how your child learns, the problem is that a lot of people don't talk about this. Mainstream education don't carry this, they don't even consider it, and that is why we have a lot of people who don't function academically or the way that they should. All right, when you are being taught with your learning style, you grasp things easily. Think about a fish on land and think about that same fish in water. That fish is going to function way better and optimally in water than on land. So that's the same thing. Human beings learn differently. We learn differently. But the problem is that in schools, they are being taught the same way, but we learn differently. So when the child doesn't learn that way, is being taught in that rigid form, then the child won't really understand anything. So it's about finding their learning style. When you are able to find your child's learning style, you have cut your child's learning problems by at least 50%. So find your child's learning style, or you can sign up to Tensai Kids Academy. This is a shameless plug, and we'll teach you exactly how to find it and how to use it to teach your child. If your kids don't take you seriously, I'm here to tell you that it's probably your fault. All right. Here's the thing with children: you have to know exactly how to set correct boundaries. You know how to set what we call consequences. A lot of parents do punishments. Punishments are a short fuse. They don't correct, they don't teach, but consequences are meant to correct. All right. And here's how to set a consequence. Before anything, let's say before you start teaching your child, what you can actually do is to have a sit down with them and tell them, okay, we're going to be doing this at 20 minutes a day by so time to so time. Do you agree to this? And then get them to actually consent, because you don't want to lord over them. No child likes to be lorded over. Nobody, even as they are children, they still want some level of autonomy. So you give them that choice to kind of say, okay, yes. And then you now introduce what we call a fail-proof consequence. So the fail-proof consequence is about maybe using something that they like or using something that they hate. We call this negative or positive reinforcement, to actually get them to set a firm structure around that schedule. Because if your children don't take you seriously, it means that you have fallen your hand a lot of time. Maybe you say you're going to do something, but you don't do it. That is, you are not consistent. So to do that, you have to fix yourself. When you fix that positive or negative reinforcement, you have to fix it. You have to stick through it, because the moment you falter, the moment you don't show up for that reading time, the moment they do something that they know that there is a defined consequence for, and you didn't give them that consequence, then they're not going to take you seriously, because they will feel like, after all, she's going to be inconsistent, or we can always get out of it. It's a you problem. You just have to become more consistent, and your child will adapt to that. A lot of parents confuse discipline and punishment. Like I just say, punishment is punitive. Discipline is to teach. Discipline comes from a Latin word disciplina, which means to teach. So whenever you are trying to flog, you want to think about, does this actually teach my child? So when you think about it like that, you realize that doesn't really do anything. It's more of you just trying to remove the anger in your body by kind of taking it all out on the boy through punishment or through flogging and all of that. If you really want to correct a behavior, the first thing you want to do is to educate why that behavior is actually bad. For example, you want your child to do the dishes, and then you've told him to do the dishes and he doesn't do it. Instead of rushing to flog, what you can actually do in that period is to educate on why it's important for him to do these things. Because if he doesn't do them, if he doesn't wash the plates, then there will be no plates to eat dinner, and then eating dinner in dirty plates is going to cause them diseases, and they're going to be sick, and it will affect their health and all of that. Thereby just explaining the consequence of his action. And then once you now do that, you want to now back it up by a consequence, that if he doesn't do this, XYZ is going to be taken away, and if he does this consistently, then you might actually consider giving him XYZ reinforcement. All right, that way you set a structure so that he knows that there is actually a consequence for not doing what he has to do. And when he eventually, because children will test you, they will test you to see if you are serious, they will test you to see if what you are saying actually works. When it's time and they don't do that, you have to actually stick to it so that that consequence can truly correct. Because a lot of times when it's now time to give the consequence, they will now start shedding crocodile tears and start throwing tantrums, and you now, good mother, you now give in and say, okay, don't worry. What you are doing is you're raising a child that is spoiled and think that he will always get his way in life. So you don't want to do that. Beating is not everything. You just have to know how to correct them smartly. So a lot of times, people don't even know the different parenting styles. There's the authoritarian, there's the authoritative, there's the permissive, and there's the helicopter parent. But in my experience, the best form of parenting, the best style that you can use is the authoritative. The reason why authoritative parenting is perceived as the best is because it combines both emotional support and also sets high expectations with consequences for not attaining them. This style helps children to develop discipline and social skills while feeling secure and getting the skills and strongholds that they need to grow into independent and functional adults. And it's also the style of parenting that doesn't end up help you raising either a child that feels like the world is at his feet, in the sense of that everybody's supposed to serve him, or a child that is broken through low self-esteem issues and is gullible and people just take advantage of them. So if I were to recommend the parenting style, I would say that authoritative is the best, and that is what you should look out for. I love this question so much because a lot of parents make the mistake of actually using humiliation as a discipline tactic. But what they don't actually know is that this is counterproductive. Correction is about guiding your child to change or replace a negative behavior. It's about clearly pointing out what they did wrong, why it was wrong, and what they can do next time. Whereas humiliation shames them for their mistakes, kills their self-esteem and confidence, and doesn't really change their behavior. Instead, it makes them feel like you're just a terrible person for trying to embarrass them or for embarrassing them. And because a lot of our parents raised us this way, we found out that there's a lot of disconnect between the parents and their children. Some of us that are watching this video right now, you've not spoken to your parents in a very long time. Even when you speak to them, you want to end the call immediately, or when you want to go and visit your parents, you visit them for 1 or 2 days and you go home because your relationship is best long distance due to your upbringing, due to the way that you were raised, due to the fact that there was always something to be afraid of, you were scared of a lot of things, or due to some of the mistakes that they made due to lack of knowledge. Now you don't want the same thing to happen to you as a parent. So always aim to correct your children using discipline tactics and also with empathy, so that at the end of the day, they understand, even if there's a consequence, they can understand why they deserve this and gladly go through their consequence and change their behavior as a process. So thank you for joining me in this eye-opening session. I need you to also remember that parenting is a journey, not a destination. There's never such thing as a perfect parent. You're just a parent, period. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you share this video to other parents just like you who might need this. Also, like and subscribe to get more of parenting content and how you can actually be the best parent to your kids. I'll see you in the next one.